Welcome to the Playing Hooky podcast with your hosts Rachel and Nathan, brought to you by UtilityMuffinLabs.com. Consistently rated adequate. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Krista.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
And you guys have both been on other podcasts with me before. You guys were on Nerdwares, but this one is different because it's like our podcast. So
This is our Sharon Shit That We Like podcast.
So let's talk a little bit about what we've just been talking about.
Let's continue to talk about what we've been talking
Let's
about.
continue this conversation in a recorded, more awkward version. So you're not a gamer, Krista.
Not at all.
Chance, you are the gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
You're
a
kind of like,
king gamer.
yeah.
that's what people say.
So tell us, for like people that are listening, share some of your pedigree. How long have you been gaming? What are some games that you regularly play?
I started 85 D&D. Friends got me into it. I've played almost everything there is under the sun. Although that's kind of harder to say now because of so many games come out a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But pretty much anything before 95, I've probably played it. Shadowrun, Battletech, Vampire, Werewolf, Wraith, L5R. You name it, I've probably tried it.
Yep.
Star Wars D6, that's probably one of my favorite go-tos. That's the West End Games version. There's
Cool.
like 5 versions. now.
Awesome. And Krista, how long have you been putting up with this?
How long? Over 11 years.
Over 11, cool, 11 years.
Yeah. I used to have my own office, and now it has miniatures and books and building stuff and paint and all kinds of stuff that gives me 3 inches of space for my office. So.
I don't have that problem, but I do have a similar situation in that I've acquired many things in my living space that are Nate's, that are specific to gaming or his like specific type of nerdery.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely when you love a dorky, geeky, nerdy gamer guy, there's some hardware that comes into the relationship.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to ask you, and it's probably a question I've asked you before, but you really had no experience with gaming before the two of you got together, right?
I didn't even have video game, nothing in my house. He moved into my house. There was no gaming consoles. There was nothing. I mean, so I certainly didn't know anything about tabletop gaming or role playing or anything like that. I literally, like, now we have like 3 Xboxes, a PlayStation, a Vita,
Right.
Like
Yeah.
everything. And I didn't have any of that.
Yeah, I'd like within the span of a year, somehow I acquired 2 Xboxes, and yeah, like it's kind of mind blowing.
I didn't really even know when people said gaming that there was something besides, Xbox and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was,
No.
So how did that like kind of play out for you the first time he like had people over and the dice get busted out?
Well, I was married once before, and I kind of took it as everybody has their thing, right? So my ex-husband was a very everything sports. Would watch anything, men's sports, women's sports. Sundays during football season, I was a widow. I didn't have a husband, So so I kind of took it that was his thing, and it doesn't have to be my thing in order for it to be his thing. So, first couple times, I think I watched a couple times so that I would understand, and then I realized I really didn't care to understand that much. So I let him do his thing, and every other week he has friends over that play at our house, and I just kind of hide in the basement and fold laundry. So
that's fair.
I think the first time we actually played as a group, though, you drove out to Mount Prospect where we played at a game store.
Yeah, I remember that.
That is the first time I think we played as the group that you know now.
Yeah,
We didn't play at the house yet.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, right there. Not talk to you. Right?
Yeah.
Talk like this.
Yeah, don't look at him when you talk because, like I said, this is like a more awkward version of a real conversation.
Yeah, more awkward version. Well, so like this podcast, the whole like spirit idea of this podcast is Nate and I sharing things that we like with each other. And one thing that we've experienced, especially more recently, particularly with movies, is that like there's a lot of stuff he really likes that I just can't get behind, and like vice versa, I think is also true. So, but like we know all about like what you guys are into, but like what's your thing? Like what's kind of your geekdom? What's your outlet? Like what's the thing that you're like, this is my thing?
Country music.
Right. So that is like I'm not a fan of country music, but I feel like that is a whole other level of geeky that like I don't know much about.
Oh sure.
So like so tell us about country music. Like what do we need to know? Like crash course. Like what's going on in the world of country music?
I've gotten into a couple little like Facebook arguments with with some people that I know that just absolutely hate the new country music. You know, like the more poppy country music. I like all of it. I like Reba. I like Tina McBride, Willie Nelson. You know, like all the old people.
Right.
And but I like all the new people too, and it's a little bit more poppy, and a lot of it is questionable on whether it's country or not.
Sure.
And we've looked up, I can't even tell you how many times we've looked up the definition of country to understand why like a particular song that absolutely sounds like it belongs on B96 is on the country station.
Okay.
B96 is a very like hip hop.
Okay.
Type of
So are we talking about like Old Town Road? Is that like where we're going?
That's a cross genre song. So that's got a country singer and a
like a rapper, hip hop artist. Yeah.
Yeah, but like
I've never heard it, so.
Sam Hunt, Luke Bryan, they all have songs. That, Old Dominion, Florida Georgia Line, all have songs that
I've heard of Florida Georgia Line
that play on the regular pop station and play on country music.
Okay.
I feel like if the name of your group is also like a shipping and receiving company, you're definitely country music.
Right. Old Dominion at Florida Georgia Line kind of sounds like it. Old Dominion is a shipping company, but
that's funny.
But Florida Georgia Line certainly sounds like it is too. So.
Yeah. So like
that's my thing. I go to a lot of concerts and have boots and have several flannels to choose from.
So that's adorable. I love that. So because you were talking like we were walking around earlier and we went to like a boutique that has like vintage clothes or whatever, and looking at some cowboy boots and things like that. And you mentioned there's like a big festival you go to every year. What's that about?
It is in Wisconsin, like near Lake Geneva. Twin Lakes is the name of the city, and it's 4 days of concerts.
And oh my God, Krista, this is your Gen Con.
It is my Gen Con, which is why I try and get him to go to Gen Con.
Okay, nice.
As an equal.
Okay.
And the headliners are usually people you would pay, $75 to $100 to see individually, but I pay $100 for all 4 days.
Okay.
And I go with my sister and usually a couple other friends. And
to do camp?
We absolutely never. I've never camped. I've been going probably for 25 years since I was in my first marriage, and so not 25, maybe 20 years, and I have never camped, and I've only been to the campgrounds probably 3 times.
So camping is a thing that some people do, though.
Oh, a lot of people, mostly younger people.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a shit show. There's a lot of like drunken underage debauchery going on over there.
As you would expect at any outdoor festival, right?
So we stay in Lake Geneva in a hotel, and last year we stayed in like a resort.
Like adults.
Pretty nice. Like grown-ups, where there's showers and stuff. So.
Right. So the one time I've been to Lake Geneva, it's beautiful, by the way. If you're in the Midwest and you want to go to a nice little like destination, we went to Gary Con for a game. Which is like
that was such like disdain.
Gary Con. Well,
it was actually a lot of fun.
It was super fun.
Gary Con is like if you took D&D and you condensed it, or I'm sorry, if you took Gen Con and condensed it down solely to D&D,
right?
That would be we went to the only vampire game there, so we were like the 2 vampire people, and then there was like a bunch of people that went to this game and they were all like D&D people, and they were like, I guess we'll pretend.
Yeah, it was kind of a live action role play situation, but it was super fun. But like, kind of similar to maybe what you've experienced this weekend visiting
One
us
day was
in
enough.
Indy. Yeah, one day was enough of Gary Con because I'm not a big D&D person. But we went to, I guess, downtown Lake Geneva. I don't know what the city was. It like I don't know,
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
cute. It was adorable. It had like a cute little downtown, and there was this like delicious little eatery, and I like loved. I had a great weekend, so it was super fun.
It was cool.
We do a lot when we go there. We walk around the lake too. Like one of these times we want to walk. It's like 26 miles all the way around the lake.
Ooh.
And so you'd really need an entire day for it. But
Right.
we usually walk like 3 or 4 miles up one side at all the houses that we'll
so
never be
hilly
able
there,
to
too.
afford.
Is it an expensive, like resorty type
Super
area?
Expensive, yeah.
But it's not too far from Chicago, right? It's only like a couple hours.
Hour and a half.
Okay, so closer even than Indy. So there's like, I know the Indiana Dunes. Have you guys ever been there or heard of it? Or is that like a thing?
We go every year.
Okay, so you guys go every year. So it's not just like people from Indiana that are like the dunes are amazing because Nate had never heard of them.
No, I heard of them. I'd never been there.
Okay.
Like where I grew up in, like kind of a lower middle class town, a lot of very working class. We'll put it that way. And so, like a lot of families in the summer would like go to the dunes, or they'd go to like there was like some campground that everybody went to. So like I had heard of them, but by the time I was like
we go
15,
out-
my parents didn't do shit.
We go out just for the day. I mean,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
take the kids and a couple other families. The Halleck's go, Adam and Lexi and Jay and the girls, and a couple other families. And we go up. We just spend the day at the beach. We bring our own lunch.
Like
Okay.
$10 for a vehicle.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
It's pretty nice. We bring our own food. We all split the cost of like basically a picnic and
Right.
and play beach volleyball or
Aw.
swimming if it's warm enough,
Right.
or whatever. So
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Or just walk in the water and then be like, ooh.
it's too.
And then not.
So, Chintz, do you get into the country music stuff at all with Krista, or is this kind of something that you let be her thing as she lets gaming be your thing? Or?
Well, I've tried to get her into gaming. But,
Okay.
I listen to the music, but
Right.
she doesn't let me go to the concerts.
Oh, this is like.
That is not a true statement.
Oh, okay.
I can't go to Country Thunder. That's the
No,
true
he
statement.
can't go to
Country Thunder's,
Thunder.
that's the thing, the 4-day thing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a non-husband, non-boyfriend situation.
Gotcha.
They don't come.
And I'm okay with it.
That's a girls'
honestly.
weekend.
It- it is absolutely against everything he would ever want to do. Lots of crowds, lots of heat,
Okay.
lots
Yeah.
of drunkenness. So that's not his
Yeah.
MO. So.
Yeah, for people who like playing games, which usually requires like the presence or the active participation of other people, unless you're playing some online game, I've noticed a lot of gamers don't want to interact with other people. Like
Unless
I'm
they're
like,
gaming.
Unless they're gaming, but even then, it's like a small number, and usually I have to know at least half of them. So
I've had like gaming groups that I've gamed with for like 10 years or more that don't interact outside of that game at all. Like
Right.
don't even like, and then when they're there, it's like weird, awkward, like like my first gaming group in the town that I grew up in, like I don't know that I would have ever considered any of those guys my friends. Like they were just the other guys that played games. It wasn't until like I was in my 20s where kind of like my friend group and my gaming group just became one. But yeah, before that, it was just like, in some ways, it was like not friendly. Like they were the people you'd sit at the table with them and just like talk shit back and forth, like not in a friendly way. I don't know if you ever experienced that, especially like with Magic. Did you ever play Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Those people just talk shit to each other
All the time.
the whole time, and then leave and then get together again and play Magic.
my mom, I really wanted to play Magic when I was younger. My mom wouldn't let me because one, she didn't want me to spend the money on the cards, and two, she was like, "It's evil, Satan." Like she was very like she thought because like I guess like. She had this thing in her head about like D&D being like evil, like the whole like thing from the 80s where it was
Right.
like it was demonic or whatever, and like she never like moved past that. So then like everything that was like that was just like a no. So yeah, but I really wanted to play Magic when I was little. It would have been right up my alley, but again, I had a bit of an issue with how to spend my lunch money. So she was like, we should put the kibosh on that immediately.
Yeah. My parents had the whole evil D&D thing too.
Yep, mine too.
Why was that? Do you guys know why that is? I never understood that. Is there like a whole? Did someone kill themselves?
Yeah.
There was like a Tom Hanks
Satanic
movie.
Panic.
What was
Yep.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was a movie.
Yeah.
A-
Tom
actually, there's a podcast from like 3 years ago where we watched part of that movie and
Okay.
talk shit about it while we watch it. But yeah, so there was this whole like satanic panic thing, and there were some kids that went out and like got stuck in a tunnel or something. So anytime there's like,
Was there a clown that told them they would float if they came into the tunnel?
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I feel like, definitely. That was
Did they go in the tunnel to replicate something from Dungeons and Dragons, or
Maybe a dungeon.
yeah.
Okay, that makes
Dungeons
sense.
and Dragons, I don't
So
know.
there's always people who want to take things just a step too far. And sometimes those people, nothing bad happens, and those people go on to make movies and video games and television shows or
Right.
whatever. And sometimes, just sometimes, people get killed. And when that happens, usually it's not the idiot who drugged the other idiots off that gets blamed. It's the thing that the idiot drugged the other idiots off to do.
Right.
So like a good example, I talk about vampire all the time. And like in the 90s, there was there was a guy that killed his girlfriend's mom or something like that. And they all thought they were vampires. And they also played Vampire the Masquerade. So for a long time, there was like a stigma of like, if you play vampire, you're going to kill somebody. And like, I've never wanted to kill anybody, actually wanted to kill them.
I was going to say, I don't know. I've driven with you a couple times, like behind the wheel. I think probably.
But also, nobody's ever been like, we need to outlaw cars. Like, every person's been in their car and been like, I fucking hate you.
Right.
But they're not like, cars got to go. It's just gaming.
Gotcha. All right. Cool.
Yeah, it's the scapegoat. So what do you guys do together? Because we don't play a lot of the same games. She's not really like into playing like a lot of the video games I'm into playing, or sometimes she is. But like, what do you guys do together when you're like, we got nothing else to do?
Well, first of all, I mean, we've got 3 kids, so that's
So you raise kids.
that's a big together thing.
We have 2 dogs.
And 2 dogs. But besides, taking care of them, making sure they're fed and stuff.
Grow up to be responsible adults. Yes.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's still to be seen.
Yet to be tested.
We got a couple that are almost adults, so we'll see what happens. We like a lot of the same types of TV and a lot of the same movies. I mean, I really am a big Marvel fan.
Okay.
I like all those superhero movies, TV shows, like all the ones that used to be on Netflix.
Nerd.
And we watch a lot of the same TV shows and stuff. And,
Law and Order. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing wrong with a little Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Do you guys have like a go-to? You're like, oh, fuck today. I just want to relax and throw something mindless on. Do you have like a go-to? Like a Netflix? Like ours, we have 2. Ours are like The Office and The Great British Bake Off. Like those are things we can just throw on.
I was telling Krista about The Great British
one.
Bake Off earlier. It's just like, it's so friendly and charming. Like, it's the best.
I don't know what we watch that's mindless. We watch a lot of stuff, in my opinion, that's mindless. We have definitely different sense of humor. I mean, like we watch. I'm
Family Guy.
Family Guy.
Not.
Can't stand it. I sit there and I don't crack a smile the entire time, and he's practically rolling on the floor.
It was something you made me watch that I was just like...
Wonder
Chosen. He had me watch Wonder Chosen, and he's like sitting there laughing, and I think starting to feel bad about himself as a human, because I'm just like...
It's weird.
I can't describe what my face looked like, but I'll let him try.
Sometimes the audience you watch a show with act as like a mirror to your own self, right? So if you watch like a show that's like really offensive or like, ridiculous, like stupid, absurd humor, and you're with somebody that enjoys it, it's like it amplifies your enjoyment. You like look over and you're like, oh, they also think. But when you watch it with someone and their reaction is like a slow turning frown, or they're just like, and you look at them and they look at you and you're not talking, but they're going, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you think this is funny? And you start to reflect internally and you're like, oh,
I don't.
What is wrong with me? Well, maybe you wouldn't the first, but you make it a point to like bring things that I'm like, hey, you really like this. And then like the 3rd show in, I'm like, no, this will be the funny one.
This is the one I promise is going to turn you.
Yeah,
and she's like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Why am I watching this?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
I was like, should I just continue to lay here and let this happen to me, or should I speak up and say I'm not into this thing that's happening right now?
Yeah. So that was one where I was like, okay, I guess that'll be a solo thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We definitely have some shows that are we kind of watch on our own, but like he'll turn like Law and Order Special Victims Unit is my show. I like that show. I'll watch it by myself. But if he's sitting at his desk and he hears a storyline that he's interested in, he's always turning around and listening, and it distracts him. But there's some other shows that he watches that I absolutely have no interest in. And I'm a relatively smart person. I'm not like but he watches like Ancient Aliens and geography shows and stuff, and I'm just like, no, I have no interest in, I guess I don't have any interest in learning any more than I do now. I guess. I don't know. So,
you're like, I'm all set.
I'm all set.
I'm all filled in.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's see what we like. The Rookie.
What's The Rookie?
It's a TV show.
Okay.
A TV show where a guy he kind of goes through a midlife crisis and becomes a cop.
Okay.
So
world's oldest cop.
Yeah,
like
world's
42 or something.
Okay.
It's Nathan Fillion.
Oh, I love Nathan Fillion.
Oh yeah, and he's good in it.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll like the show. If you like him, you'll like the
He's
show.
basically
It's good.
Mel.
Okay, good.
He really is Mel.
That's great. That's great.
So if you like Firefly, he's good in
There
it.
was another show with him in it where he played like
A writer?
Castle?
cop or
Is it
maybe no, he was a
Castle.
writer. He
Castle?
was a writer.
Castle.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
saw that one, but
I had to for my job. It was like
Yeah.
it was
I had a-
on, so I had to watch
Right.
it.
I had a friend who was really into it, and she lent me a couple seasons of DVDs. I liked it. I mean, it wasn't like the best show, but it was entertaining.
It's hard for me to watch shows like that because they're very formulaic. They're very like start, middle, finish.
Right.
There's not a lot of like thought to them. But that one, basically anyone where there's people getting murdered in it, I'm kind of into for some weird reason. It's just I don't know. It's not the murder part of it. It's just
Right.
like the crime and like
solving of the crime.
the A to B to C, that type of thing. I've always been into. What about YouTube? Do you guys spend a lot of time watching YouTube, or is that something that you haven't?
Painful amount.
Yeah. Okay.
Painful amount.
Yeah, no, there's basically always a YouTube video playing
Yeah.
somewhere in our house. Like if I
ridiculous.
come home from work and if Nate is like not recording or editing a podcast, usually I'm hearing like YouTube from the bedroom or the bathroom or the basement or the
I
kitchen.
literally-
Yeah.
Like he always puts it on when I'm starting to fail at the day, like it's like 9 o'clock and I'm like ready to sleep. And all of a sudden he puts on like videos about gaming, no offense, but I just am, like, are you going to try? I'm going to sleep because this is not
but I know
entertaining.
you're going to sleep, so I'm just like,
Not
you
at
should go to
9,
sleep.
10 o'clock is my cutoff.
Yeah.
Like I'm always like, oh, put on Watch Mojo or like Top
Yeah,
Tens and
yeah.
stuff like that. Like I'm interested in that kind of stuff, and I'll watch some of the political videos he puts on and stuff.
Right.
I'm not very political at all, but I will watch different political things, but I just can't get behind some of the videos. And
Yeah.
I'm like, are you trying to keep me awake and stay with you?
I was having an angry moment the other day where I was really stressed out about like something to do with work, and I was trying to get something else done, and there was just like a lot going on in the house, and we were running late for. I don't know, like it was kind of like a perfect Rachel storm where I was stressed out about work. I knew I had 2 or 3 things I had to do that day, and then like Nate's like, "Can we go do a thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to do a thing with you. Let me try and wrap up what I'm doing here really quickly." And then I was just getting like stressed out and angry about like other things that had nothing to do with him. And he's like listening to this podcast, but it was like a podcast that was recorded live and it was on YouTube. And funny podcasts, funny comedians. Normally I really like them, but there's one comedian on the podcast who was like laughing, and every time he laughs, it's like, and I was like walking in the house, and like that's like what made me snap. And I was just like, I can't fucking deal with this podcast anymore. Can you turn it down? And it was like it had nothing to do with him or the podcast, but I was just like, I can't deal with it anymore. It's been playing for like an hour.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. And he's like, it seems like this is more about you than me. But
Another thing she gives me shit for is that like I'll have something playing on the television.
oh, this is the worst.
And like I'll be like something will be playing on the television, and I'll be like reading a book, and then I'll pick up my phone and I'll like have something. I'll be on like Facebook and a video will be playing there, and she's like, "Could you pick a thing and do it, please?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
No, there's like 2 videos, or like there'll be something playing that I'm
hear
trying
ya.
to
I
watch,
hear
and then
ya.
he's watching something different on his phone, and he's got a book in the other hand because he's like forgot that he was reading a book, and then he'll look up and talk to me and try to have a conversation with me, and I'm like, there's at minimum 3 people speaking right now. We need to turn all of it off, or you need to be quiet and let me
It's like
try to
utter
focus in on my
chaos.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
My office is like right on like the other side of the wall from where his Xbox is, and he always has his iPad propped up on the chair, which, by the way, he has moved 1 foot away from the 65-inch TV where he's playing Xbox. He's got it propped up on the chair, and he'll be listening to some other he'll be listening to a podcast, and he'll have the TV super loud, and I'm trying to work in the back, and it's just like, all right, you need to pick something because I can't.
I don't know how he can. I don't know if it's a them thing. I don't know how he can like multitask in his brain. Like no information's getting absorbed.
Right.
Like it's just sound at that point.
And by the way, Nate, you have to know that how many times, hon, have I asked, is that Nate's podcast? Because I will be in the other room. And I swear to God, everybody sounds like you. And it's been like 2 or 3 times in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, is that Nate talking? You know, and I'm like, no, that's not Nate. You know, like, and I keep thinking it's you. But there was one time he was talking to a woman too, and I'm like, oh, is that one of Nate and Rachel's podcasts? And he's like, nope. And I'm like, all right, well, everybody sounds like Nate to me, apparently.
Yeah, it's like everybody. Well, it probably attracts a certain type of person, you know, people that want to be heard.
Right.
Usually probably have like a tone of voice. But also, my voice is very bassy. So if you're a room away, you're probably only hearing the bass of their voice anyways.
Right.
So it's probably all sounds like, it's like if you get my dad and me and my brother in the same room and you step out of the room, you can't tell who's who. It just sounds like, that's all it sounds like.
It's true. And like sometimes like he and his dad and his brother have like a similar way of talking, and like it's weird because like he'll say something or do something and it looks just like his dad, and his dad is the same way, especially like if they're trying to like if they're saying something to the effect of like, what the fuck is wrong with this person? They all like say it in the exact same thing. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Like they like scrunch up their mouth and put their hand out and then shrug their shoulders in the same way. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this idiot?
So,
like it's so weird.
The podcast thing has actually gotten pretty bad because I will listen to podcasts while I'm editing my own podcast. Like, how insane is that? Like, I'm listening to somebody else. And when, like, a lot of podcasts now, like ours included, we post on like iTunes or whatever, and we post it on YouTube. And I'll leave the house and I'll start with my podcast app here on my phone, and I'll go for a walk or whatever, go drive in the car, and I'll listen to 45 minutes of it. And then I'll go to YouTube and I'll fast forward at 45 minutes and I'll watch it while I'm washing dishes or something.
Not our podcast, but another person's. Okay.
And then like I'll come back in here and then I'll pull up YouTube on my TV, and because I'm logged in, it's got all my account information.
Right.
And I'll just pick up where I left off on that one. It's just like
you can't get away from it.
It's actually kind of ridiculous. Like
our lives are probably too easy.
Yeah.
That's why we have so much political turmoil. It's because things are actually too easy, so we need something to fight about.
First world problem.
Right,
for
exactly.
sure.
Like, when was the last time you were bored?
I don't think I can remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being like 17 or 18 years old and going and hanging out in the park and just being like, well, guess this is what we're doing.
Right.
Like, I'm just bored.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if we had cell phones when we were kids. Like, we would never be bored. We wouldn't know what to do if they were gone.
We also wouldn't have the relationship. I mean, because we have kids, you know, they're 17, 18 years old, and
what's that
they
like?
have got their heads in their phones all the time. You know, they're always into something.
Different.
It's bad. I mean, it's to the, like, the punishment for any wrongdoing is to take away the phone or the tablet or whatever electronic, because it's what they cherish more than anything else. You know,
put your laundry away. I'll do it later. All right, give me your phone. Okay, I'll do it now.
As soon as you put your laundry away, we'll give you your phone back.
Right.
And then it's like immediately done.
Yeah. Wow. Is it like to kids? Okay, I feel like such an old person, but also like I feel like I've missed out on a whole generation of like people because I don't have a kid and I don't know anybody who's a teenager. Probably for the best that I don't have friends who are teenagers. But like
that'd be a little weird.
Do they still like come over to like? Do they still go over to each other's houses and hang out?
They do.
Okay,
they do. There's a lot of video games that take place. Colin's friends are better because they will talk to each other They'll play guitar.
Do they still like look each other in the eye?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
a little
all
bit
right.
better than the girls. I mean,
Okay.
the girls are bad. I mean,
In their phones?
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Peyton's friends will come over and they'll all hang out in her room together,
But be
but
on
they're
their
on their phones.
Yeah, because I mean, even like when I was in my like late teens or early 20s, and like computer use became like really common. Like we would go over to a person's house and like go on AOL Instant Messenger, but we'd still like talk across
Right.
the room,
Right.
Or like run over and be like, "Ooh, what's this person saying?" But I can only imagine,
Right.
if you just had like a little thing to like block out your vision from everything else.
And now they're all walking around with a computer in their pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can do
Yeah.
anything. They can look up anything
Right.
they
Like,
want.
go to the library,
Right. Right.
Go to, like
so,
the one person's house whose parents like had enough money to buy them a computer.
Right.
Yeah. It is weird. Like when you stop and think about it, like I'm 35 and the how quickly like things have changed in that like amount of time with like what we have access to and information. Like it's pretty like mind numbing when you think about like how different life is now. Like haven't been a teenager for 20 years, but like in that 20 years, it's like so different, like way more different than when like our parents versus when they were teenagers to when we were teenagers. So
Yeah.
it's weird.
I mean, even like when you and I met, Krista, like cell phones were just like a thing you carried in your pocket.
Right. I had a BlackBerry when I met Chance, and it took a long time for him to convince me that I needed to get a smartphone. I was like, no. I'm like, no, I'm good with this.
Yeah, his iPhones
Yeah.
have been out for 12 years, you know, so it's like
Crazy.
smartphones have been out for, 4 or 5 years before that, give or take, depending on your definition of a smartphone. But
Yeah.
like this is what really changed it. These iPhones, like, Androids, iPhones, all that shit. Like I couldn't imagine.
No.
So if you guys had to deal with, I just was like, been paying attention to this on the news because it's interesting. And then also like we have some family who like vape, but like you guys have any issues with like your kids vaping or anything like that? Or is that
You know our story.
okay? No, because I heard a thing on the radio the other day where it was like, it's almost like there's an epidemic where it's like, as soon as people hit like 12, 13 years old, everybody starts vaping. Whereas like, I feel like that's so weird because I know when I was growing up and probably the generation before and definitely the generation after, it was just like only the bad kids smoked. Only the cool kids like Nate smoked. And then, or like, like only the bad kids, like, and smoking just like wasn't a cool thing. And it certainly wasn't a thing that everybody did.
Right.
But now it seems like everybody.
People are vaping like just like non-nicotine stuff. I mean, I just don't understand the point. I mean, I understand that some people...
It does look kind of cool, but also it looks super douchey. It doesn't look as cool as smoking
I
cigarettes.
think you look like a tool.
Yeah.
It looks like
doesn't matter.
it looks like a Limp Bizkit t-shirt and a visor to me. That's what douchey.
Yeah, it is really douchey.
I understand some people. The initial, I think, intention of it was to help people quit smoking, which I get that. But then, like, there's our 13-year-old. I shouldn't say that she doesn't, but I don't think she's ever done that. But I know that some kids at her school have,
Right? Yeah.
and they're older kids for sure. I mean, there are some of their friends vape all the time, whether it be just chemicals, nicotine, pot. I don't
Flavor
even know,
stuff, yeah.
So they're, a lot of their friends do that. We caught one of our kids with a vape pen.
Yes.
Guess which one? Anybody?
The male.
The male one.
The male one.
And we took it away from him, and and then I actually,
He's got such a baby face, though. I have a hard time believing that he would do anything. But is he one of those with like the cute, sweet face, but is actually like a
little bit of trouble?
Yeah.
Just a tad.
And then we just recently. Can I tell this story?
I don't know.
Okay.
First off, I don't know what story you're going to tell.
The vape pen story.
It's not my child, so
Okay. So we took it away from the boy.
Yeah.
And it was downstairs in our basement, and at some point it just disappeared. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Somebody came and
The
took
dog
back.
ate it.
So somebody probably came and took it back, right? And I didn't even really notice it was gone until recently. I received a text message from the mom of one of our friends' daughters who doesn't live in state. Are we on the same page now? Mm-hmm. And she was furious
We
because
should keep it to that level.
yes.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I don't know if we want.
because our boy had given her daughter the vape.
Okay.
So it was it was a bad situation.
Yeah.
And, he had to we made him write a paper on why vaping is bad.
Okay. Nice. That's a great punishment. I love it when
It was actually the punishment she gave her daughter.
Nice. So smart.
And his was, it was fine. He said that he made most of it up, which I believe that he probably did. And mostly because he said he doesn't think it's bad. And I'm like, well, okay, then I think we need to talk about why you don't think it's bad.
That's funny because neither my adult sibling nor my adult father think it's bad either.
Yeah. I think it's not great. It's not a healthy choice.
In fact, the last podcast that we recorded, like I said, we do one on YouTube, we do one on like the iTunes or whatever,
Right.
And the one we did on YouTube, I cut out like a 12-minute tirade about us going in on vaping.
I wondered what that was.
Yeah. But if you listen to the actual podcast,
okay.
I was lazy and was just like, nah, fuck it. I didn't cut it out. I didn't care. But yeah, we went in on a tirade because, these adults are doing it. And they're like, oh, it's totally fine. And I'm like, you're making oil into a vapor and sucking it into your lungs.
Right.
Right. How could that be good?
Right. Well, and then also like right around that time when we kind of had our tirade, I just feel like it's coming up a lot more in the news. So that's why I'm like just interested in it. But also like, like his dad quit smoking and did that because he started vaping. But then like he went to the doctor and he's been smoking most of his life. And the doctor was like, okay, well, like he got sick.
Now you have chronic bronchitis.
Yeah, he got sick. He couldn't get better. Like the antibiotics weren't working, and then had to go and like get nebulized. And like the doctor's like, okay, well you've been smoking so long. Now you have chronic bronchitis. You have COPD. And his dad's like, well, I don't smoke anymore. I vape. And the doctor was like, he's like, I'd rather you smoke 3 cigarettes a day than vape. Like the doctor said that.
Not
to a man who had just been diagnosed.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't like 4 out of 5 doctors recommend Camel.
Yeah.
It was like, stop fucking vaping.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, kids.
Which, by the way, postscript to that, being nebulized sounds a lot cooler than it actually is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not,
We're using a nebulizer.
It's not super cool.
Not just a big inhaler.
Yeah. It's not as cool as like what the villain on Mad Max Fury Road looked
that
like.
guy was
Yeah.
cool, yeah.
What was that? What was his name? The guy in Fury Road. Was it not? You know what I'm talking about?
I've only seen it once.
Yeah, and Morton Joe.
Morton Joe. That's who it was.
Yeah.
I just had to stop and
Think about
not
it.
hear you talk for me to remember. That's just like when we were in the grocery store, and you're like, "What's that big fruit?" And I'm like, as soon as you asked me, it was out of my head. Like I could have told you 12 times, but you asking me, you should look that up.
The jackfruit?
No, not jackfruit.
That's what I thought.
The
it was,
durian.
Yeah, one of those two
It was
things.
this big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the big
yeah.
spiky fruit.
Not the smell like feet.
No, that's durian.
That's durian.
Durian is, I think, a spiky fruit.
It
right?
is spiky, yeah.
But I think that one
This
wasn't
was
a
bigger
durian.
than a
It was a
watermelon.
different.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was huge.
It was the size of an elephant
I think it
fetus.
was a jackfruit.
Anyway, I think it was a jackfruit. Yeah. But you were saying I should look something up.
You should look up, why is it that whenever someone asks Nate a question, he forgets?
Do you think that?
Do you think they'll have that specifically?
Yeah. Do you think that someone's done research about this that we don't know?
Why does Nate always forget?
You could replace my name with any, you like a Steve, a Tom. You could probably just be like, why does person
Yeah.
forget when asked?
Why do people forget? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because, it's that or the ADD.
Yeah, it could be the not yet
I
to
think the
be
technology's really-
diagnosed ADD.
I think the technology is really like making that even harder.
I can't remember a phone number for crap now.
No. Like she was asking me like, how can you concentrate on like 3 different things at once? And it's not even that I'm concentrating on it. It's just that 3 things are happening simultaneously and it turns into one thing.
Right.
I don't even know.
blends together.
It's kind of like everything at Taco Bell. It all kind of tastes the same once it's in your mouth.
It's just the same 4 ingredients
Right.
prepared differently.
Yeah. Oh man, I fucking love me a Taco Bell burrito though.
Here's the worst. Do you guys ever experience this? You'll be like on Instagram or Facebook and you'll be scrolling and like a video comes up and like you stop on it and you're transfixed by it, but it's not even something you're interested in. It's
Yeah.
like
sure.
it's like cats batting string for like 15 minutes. And you're like, well, I've watched that now. Like I don't know why I
Or
watched that.
you'll be like, pick up your phone. You're like, oh, what time was I supposed to meet that person? You have every intention of opening your calendar, but then it opens up to a text message that you got, and then you have to answer that, and then you're like, I wonder what's happening on Facebook, and then you like put your phone down and go back, and I was like, wait, what the fuck time am I supposed to meet them later? And you have
I'll
to like
pick up my phone to text somebody and then completely forget that I was going to text somebody.
Yeah.
And then I get, like you said, I'm on Facebook, I'm on my emails, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So here's another question for
the
you
worst.
guys. Do you get phantom vibrations?
yes.
On my
don't think so.
watch all the time.
I get them constantly on
Oh,
my
yeah.
legs.
On the
Where you
watch.
feel like someone's texted you.
I won't even.
Yeah.
My phone will be sitting on the table, and I'll
And
be
you'll
like,
get one right
I'll be
here?
like, oh, something's on my phone. Nothing.
Yeah. Here's something.
My watch will vibrate
Yeah,
sometimes.
constantly. I'm like, no, nothing.
Here's something that I don't do that's not related to my phone, but it shows like how trained and programmed my brain is, and it's actually a little embarrassing. So the key fob that unlocks your car door, as it turns out, will not unlock your front door of your house.
No kidding. That's a shame.
But about, I would say 15% of the time when I'm trying to get into the house, I push the button to get into the house, and the button doesn't do that. And I'm like, fucking idiot. And like, I have to like use the key. I'm like, why do I keep doing that? Like, I know it's not going to open the door.
So I've started to conscientiously avoid pulling out my phone when I'm at a place. Like, you'll notice people do it in line. You know, you'll see somebody walk outside of a building and they'll pull out their phone so they don't interact with people. It's
Right.
like a way for them not to.
Sure.
So I've been like conscientiously trying to avoid using my phone unless I really need to, because I want to be present in the moment more. I want to avoid kind of using that as a tool not to have to talk to people. But a side effect of that is I've been judging people. So like I'll see somebody walk out of a business and I'll see them pull up their phone and start doing this, and I'm like, you're not looking for anything. There's nothing important happening there. You just don't want to interact with anybody. And yeah, so that's like you can't win. Like
Right,
you're either stuck in the phone or you're like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. You get super judgy after you quit smoking too.
Oh my God, I'm the worst.
Are you at that point yet? I know you just recently quit. Or you're still
no.
bridging to be okay.
I'm not itching to have a cigarette, but I like the smell of it. But I am like, I like the smell of it on other people, and then I walk away and it's not lingering on me anymore. Like one of my favorite things about not smoking is that my hair doesn't smell and my clothes don't smell and the car doesn't smell and the house doesn't smell, and you know what I mean? Like
Right.
the smell is gone.
Yeah, but you couldn't smell it when you smoked. I couldn't smell it when I smoked.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Only in like the most extreme circumstances, like if I'm in a hot boxed room or something.
Yeah.
I could. But
well, I mean, I know this is terrible, but I would smoke in the house. I mean, we would smoke in the basement, and
The kids say it smelled like chips and cigarettes.
in the house. That's what their friends would say. And,
Chips and cigarettes.
and I'm so glad, like like you were talking about how your toys, your knickknacks have like a film on them. That's like how the basement was. Like,
I had to wash everything.
Yeah.
When I moved, I quit smoking, and I moved out of an apartment I lived in for 10 years, and I had clothing in there that, it's like sits in a closet. You get stuff that sits in a closet. And like before I moved, I had to wash all my clothes.
Yeah.
Right.
Because everything smelled like cigarettes. But while I was smoking, I didn't smell it. I was like, no, it smells fine in here.
the thing that, like, the biggest thing is that, like, my hair would smell.
Yeah.
And in the next morning, I'd be like, and whereas somebody else that doesn't smoke can get up, I'm going to run to the store real quick, and I'll take a shower when I get back. But if you're a smoker, especially a female with long hair, your hair reeks of cigarette smoke, and then you can't just run to the store and like, I've got to take a shower first. I got to do and
I knew.
Well, you could, but not if you're a conscientious
not,
person.
right, not if you're someone that doesn't want other people to be like, oh, what is that?
like now, if I smell,
There's a lot of Julies that go to the store.
if I smell, I'm like, oh, how was the bar last night? They probably weren't at the bar. They just started a smoker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it got bad enough for me that like I started when I quit, I could smell how bad it was on me. I was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Like I sweat nicotine, So once I stopped, and then like I could actually smell things, it was like, oh, what is happening to me?
It's a world of difference. I mean,
How did you quit?
Chantix.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And it worked well for you?
Well, I was telling Rachel earlier, this is my third time in the last year and a half that I've quit smoking. So, that I tried to quit smoking.
Is it the third time with Chantix?
Yeah. So the first time I went 4 months, and I think it was a timing thing because when I quit the first time, it was 4 months, and then I hit that 4-day country concert.
Oh, okay.
And then the same thing this year. I got to the country concert, and I was like, a lot of drinking and a lot of casual smoking that turned into not casual smoking.
Yeah.
So now my last day was August 31st. So I'm kind of hoping that like right now, because there's not, in order for me to smoke now, I'd have to go outside in the freezing cold, in a couple months.
Are you still taking Chantix?
I am because I just want to make sure that, so I'm going to take one more month of it and then I'm going to be done.
So for me, the hardest time after I had quit was like the first month after I stopped taking Chantix. Like I wasn't having like a response to needing nicotine because the nicotine had been out of my system for so long. It was like stress. Dealing with stress was different. Like I had to learn new skills because, when you're stressed out, you smoke a cigarette. When you're happy, you smoke a cigarette. When you're bored, you smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
When you're annoyed or aggravated or
a little hungry. Yeah.
Unfortunately, but
yeah. So for me, it was like passing a gas station and being stressed out. I would have to be like, you don't need to stop. There's no need to.
Right.
And luckily, I was able to get over that hump.
A lot of coloring too. You colored a lot.
Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot. Like coloring was like just keeping my mind occupied.
For weight loss too. Is
Really?
Keep your hands busy.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. That's true.
Oriented on a task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I the last couple of times I had stopped the Chantix a lot earlier, but I really wanted to stick this time.
Yeah.
So not that I didn't want to stick then too, but
Right.
and honestly, I mean, I know this sounds terrible, but I'm not opposed to being somebody that goes out for a drink and might have a cigarette with it, and then the next day but I just need to make sure I'm to that mindset, and I just haven't gotten there the last 2 times, so I'm hoping to get there.
I have a very addictive mentality, so I have to be. The only thing that's ever worked for me is being all or nothing.
Yeah.
So, like, either you don't eat McDonald's or you end up eating McDonald's every day. That's how I am. So, yeah, I don't like the smell of it anymore. Like, I'm hopefully for the rest of my life a non-smoker, because, I mean, I just see like how it's 2 years. It's still like I go run and I still have like pains in my chest from like running too hard, and I still have issues breathing sometimes. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's just like, but it's the best decision I think I've ever made. I really hope that you stick with it because.
Yeah. I like not smoking. I really do. I mean, I feel better, but
also, like, it's just so expensive.
it is so expensive.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
He keeps track of like the app on your phone or something. I don't know. It's like in the 5 figures you've saved of not buying cigarettes.
$6,000.
Well, if you were
6,000,
smoking 2
okay.
packs a day, that's like $15 a day in cigarettes.
Yeah, that's
so.
true.
That's a meal at a restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah.
A nice one.
Yeah, and plus at that time I was eating like junk food and drinking like 3 Mountain Dew, whatever energy drinks a day. So.
Well, we're happy you're still here with us.
Yeah.
We feel lucky.
Yeah.
I like to take it right up to the edge. I still have all my feet and my fingers, so I'm good, but,
Yeah. Live life dangerously.
I did. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I don't know how we should end this podcast.
I don't know.
All right. Cool.
I don't know.
We don't have to end it, but I don't know.
The rest of our evening is going to be a podcast, just not awkward. So.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's interesting.
We've got so for people listening at home, we were very lucky that Chance and Krista had the opportunity to come out and hang out this weekend, and so we're going to go out and have some dinner and play some board games. We're going to play some Settlers of Catan. Now, I have a question for you guys. I don't know if this is an Indiana, Illinois thing. How do you say that game?
I think I say Settlers of Catan.
You say
I say Catan.
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 You guys say Catan, yeah. Is it because of Chris Catan? Do you think? Because I've heard some people say Catan, others people say Catan. I don't know what the right way is.
I've learned that if it sounds like it's being pronounced incorrectly by me, it's probably being pronounced incorrectly by me. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the actual, like, you introduced it to me, and I think I just, like, visually saw it and was like, oh, that says Catan. Like,
Well, isn't it a European game? So
It
it
is.
really could be pronounced.
Yeah, who knows?
it could be like Chahan.
Right.
It could be pronounced in a way that makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
Right. So you do like that game, though.
I do.
Yeah.
Chance has made a real big hobby out of buying $400 board games that get played once or twice.
Yeah.
My favorite was when he bought a $400 game that only 2 people could play. That was my absolute
Wow.
What game was that?
Rivet Wars. It's so good, though. It's so
Yeah,
fun.
him and Jay love it, but
and Colin. Me and Colin
him
play
and
it.
Colin, yeah. So that was
played
the
a
one I
lot.
think that got in my craw
Yeah.
the
But
worst.
we played that the most, though.
So like he's made a real habit out of that. But Subware is like a Catan, however you say
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, I don't think there's
is
a right
not
answer.
that expensive, not
Right.
as expensive as that. And
No.
so one that I've really enjoyed. And Zombicide
Zombicide.
is fun, but I just like I'm not really great at strategy, but this is one that I really have had a good
I like
time with.
Zombicide.
Have you ever played A House on the Hill? A Haunting at House on the Hill? That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
That's pretty fun, actually.
it
You might like
cooperative,
that.
or is
It is
it-
cooperative until a point,
Yeah,
and then at some
it's
point,
cooperative and competitive.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you play up into a point, and then once you guys, you get like a certain amount of like points against you as a group, the game flips, and then depending on like what room you're in and like how many points are on the board, there's like a scenario book, and then one person becomes the person who betrays. It's Betrayal at House on the Hill is the name of the game.
I might know the next game. I'm getting.
It's
Yeah.
good.
If it's not $400 though, we're not.
No. But we should. We have
not
it.
interested.
We have it, and it's actually fun. I think you would like it
It's the
because it's
cost of a video game.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I can get behind that.
It's like maybe $40. But it's
What was the Kickstarter, though?
It's been out for a while.
It's been out
I
for a
don't buy
while.
any game that doesn't have Kickstarter
Oh, okay.
additionals.
There's some hard eye rolling happening.
There are.
That's
like,
why they're
I-
$400,
I
folks.
feel like there's about 12 versions of it, though.
Okay.
So,
Oh, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to get all of them.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
you're
you can space
completionist.
it out.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. No, so but it's super fun. I think you would like it too. A lot of people who I introduce it to are people who aren't really into board games, but it's kind of like one part Clue, like one part, like there's some strategy involved, but not a lot. There's like some random elements involved. There's like, it's sort of a good bridge to tabletop role playing games. If like no one has any familiarity with that, it's like,
I don't want a bridge.
so I'm not trying to bridge you to anything. I'm not trying to convert you, but it is a really fun game. And especially this time of year, like when it's Halloweeny and kind of spooky,
Here's
it's a
how
fun
you
game.
convert her. Just get like a beginner's box and like a set of like miniatures.
Right.
And like you just be like, oh, it's a board game. Here's your packet you read.
Here's what we need. We need a tabletop role playing game that is about like an adventure based game
probably one
about
out there.
going to a 4-day country music concert, and the objective of the game is to get backstage and like I don't know, make out with Keith Urban.
There you go.
I like it.
Yeah, like if we could gamify that, I think you would be able to
Keith
convert
Urban's
her.
listening, so
Keith
get your
Urban,
people on
get
it.
at us.
Get your people.
Get at us.
They need to make one about laundry and carting people from sport to sport.
I bet you somewhere out there, there's probably like a mom's
role-playing.
tabletop
Yeah.
game, like
Right.
board game, like I mean, life is a game, and it is a very popular game.
Right.
It's exhausting.
See, I
yeah, that would
That's what I thought you meant too. I thought you meant like life in general, not the game of life.
game life.
you could be a winner at the game of
Yeah, okay.
with the little car, and you fucking drive around.
Do you guys ever play that? And like, I would always lose because I
electronic
would,
version.
I would.
I've actually never played it.
Well, so there's like at least
about
in,
that.
in the older version, when I was a kid, there was an option like you could go to college or you could not go to college, and I'd always lose because I'd go to college, and then everyone else would zip ahead of me and like earn all this money and win before I was. I was like, that's kind of how it worked out. Like, now that I'm saddled with all this
Yeah.
student loan debt.
Well, you know,
Like what was it? The new they need to remake that version to update
20
it with
years
today's
later.
economy.
Yeah.
So
and you're like, they took our jobs.
they took our germs.
But when we played this game, Betrayal at the House on Haunted Hill,
Okay.
we played with like her friends that like I just moved here, and she had a bunch of friends she went to like pharmacy school with, and they're like hardcore dorks. They're like you and I. They're like, and I role played the whole time. Like they just handed here's the guy. You're like the warrior, and I was like, I just spoke in an accent and like made decisions that didn't make any sense because I was
None of those people talk to us anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
That's how I am. I'm like, we're gonna play this game. Oh, I'm the wheelbarrow. I'm gonna pretend I'm the wheelbarrow so hard. That's just how I am. But
yeah, it's fun. We'll have to do that. And then we've mentioned it before on our special Bruges episode, but we'll probably go get some delicious crepes at Bruges or some mussels. I don't know. I've eaten a lot of carbs today.
we have had so much pastries.
And we have more.
Yeah, and we have more.
I
Yeah.
kind of want to go to sleep.
I want a crepe though.
Oh my god! So we actually talked about it on one of our podcasts. They're like a blueberry crepe.
Okay.
I'd never had a crepe before, and I was like, "This is like
And this is a guy who hates pancakes.
this was like given to us by God." I
Oh, yeah,
was like,
they're
oh my
good.
god,
Yeah.
yeah. And this place, like, that's all they do: crepes and they do mussels and French fries.
All right.
That's what they do. So they do it really,
weird
really
combo.
well.
And beer.
And I thought it was too, but it's actually like a style of French, like that's
Belgian, yeah.
right? Yeah,
Okay.
Belgian. It's like specific to them. Fucking weird.
Again, not picky over here.
Yeah.
Right.
Good. But also it's good food, so
Yeah.
you can be. Anyways, I
So
think we're
what are we going to do? Is this going to be one of our last podcasts for the year?
so we're going away.
We're taking a break.
We are taking a break. All podcasts will be shut down for at least a month,
Meow.
and then when we come back, we'll be on the third season
Third
of our
season
podcast.
of our
The third
podcast.
season of
Yeah.
our podcast.
Everybody needs a break.
Yeah.
The season finale.
You guys are our big finale.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. High five.
Yeah, well,
All
we had
right.
to do something special, like
Yeah.
have people.
Have real people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like we have people over to do podcasts. Like we play Vampire with some people, but this is like a little bit different. That's just kind of like when you game with people at a table, it's a lot of dead air.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like actual. I think a good podcast is a good
Awkward
conversation.
conversation. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it's always awkward until you like if you do podcasts a lot, it gets less awkward. But
Right.
I think I moved my microphone like 4 times because I didn't like not being able to look at you. When
Yeah,
I was
it is
talking.
weird. Yeah.
if it's any consolation, we're a small podcast. There's the people that listen really like us.
Couple
So,
thousand tops.
Yeah. We're not making any money off.
Maybe a couple hundred. I might be optimistic there. I don't know. You guys listen, so at least one
yeah,
person's
yeah, we listen.
listening.
Yeah, there's like the
Do we
first
count as
rule.
2, or is
You
it
do.
You count as two. Yeah, you count as two.
Yeah.
For sure. Good.
Yeah, you like the first rule you learn when you start doing podcasts or really anything where you're putting something out there is you can't rely on your friends and family.
Well, yeah, and like I'm flattered that you guys even listen because one of my friends was like, she listened to one episode and she's like, yeah, I couldn't listen to it anymore. It was like a conversation I wanted to jump in on that I couldn't be a part of. I was like, I get it. It's fine.
No, I like your guys' podcast together.
Yeah.
Definitely more than, no offense to your other ones, because I'm not into your
Yeah,
same
no,
stuff.
yeah.
But when you guys are having a podcast, the two of you, it's like two of our friends are having a conversation about something.
Right.
So
We try to keep it interesting and bring things that we like to the table that we can like comment on. So I don't know. We're like reading. I think we have a lot of books that we want to share with each other, but like reading is such a time consuming thing because he does so much of it for all the podcasts. And then like I get all the reading I want to do in with my job because I'm like a really slow reader. And so like I enjoy reading for pleasure, but it just takes so long.
I like your format.
Yeah.
I try to emulate it with her.
Yeah.
Like, here, you watch this because I like it.
yeah.
And then she doesn't reciprocate.
But no, I do. I put the laundry in front of them. You fold this. I'm going to see how much you like it.
Well, and hopefully like
Here's a
I think
trick.
what's the trick, Nate?
Just fold her clothes for her. And she'll be like, oh my God,
He
you're the best.
has, and
she refolds them.
I don't like it.
No, she doesn't like it at all.
You're me.
Because here's the problem, Nate. I'm going to tell you. When you fold the clothes, you should put all your T-shirts together and all your sweatpants together and all your underwear together. But no, not if you're Chance Gibney.
Nope.
You are, here's a pair of socks, a pair of underwear. Here's your sweatpants. Here's your T-shirt. Here's another pair of sweatpants. So it takes me 45 minutes to put away my clothes when he folds them.
Okay.
So when I fold them, it takes me 2 minutes.
I fold and stack like for like, but then at the end I put it all back into the hamper.
That's okay.
And then put it in the room because like I don't.
That's
I
okay.
don't know where it goes. but I will fold.
It's very sweet when you fold. I appreciate it. I'm not as good at folding his stuff because I hate folding, but also because there's something about like I have little hands and he has such big t-shirts. I can't figure out how to fold them right. Like I can't do
I
it.
fold it all like retail style. I fold it in.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
I do I do shoulder to shoulder.
I used to do it that way, and
Yeah, he folds it like our fucking bedroom looks like Hot Topic.
Yeah, basically.
I'm not joking you. Like everything's folded retail style, and he has so many concert and heavy metal t-shirts.
Once
Yeah,
you
it
get
looks
over
like a
like
Hot
30
Topic.
t-shirts, you can't. Like I have all black t-shirts.
Yeah.
And we don't keep them in drawers. We've got like shelves, and it looks like a Hot Topic. I'm not kidding you.
So basically, I have to fold them that way,
So you know
I
which
what
ones
I'm
are
wearing.
what.
Right? Because
Yeah.
otherwise, I'd have to tear them out every time. So yeah. And I moved in with her. It was like the one weakness I found in her personality, where she'd like have a hamper full of clothing, and I'm like, are those dirty? She's like, oh no, they're clean. I'll fold them later.
And then I'll just work my way through
Right,
the
they'd be
hamper
there
until
for
they're
like-
all dirty again.
Like, what is like? So I was like, that can't stand. Like,
You better take her phone away.
Yeah.
No, I just fold her clothes, and then I get to go like, I'm good. They're
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
My favorite is when the dishwasher gets emptied.
Yeah.
That earns a lot of points.
When in our old place, we had a dishwasher, and I wouldn't
didn't.
use it. No, in the
Oh,
place,
in
the
Lombard.
place
Oh,
I
yeah,
moved
yeah,
before I moved here.
I don't like dishwashers either.
Well, I didn't like that dishwasher because that dishwasher basically just shot dirty food around everything.
It like bathed the dishes in dirty food.
It would like take all the dirty food and just like throw it in a circle. Like a big
No
cockpit.
longer on the plate it started on.
Right, it's-
Somewhere else.
Right, like, oh, where did these crumbs come from? Why is there pasta on top of this coffee
When was the
mug?
last time I ate tuna?
So when we moved here, she was like, oh, I really wish I had a dishwasher. And I was like, fuck a dishwasher. The dishwasher here, though, is,
Killer.
yeah, it's thumbs up.
Yeah.
And
It's
so the
life-changing.
moment that I was like, oh, this actually washes dishes, I was like, I'm fucking washing dishes by hand ever again. So
It was great. It was great having him here to motivate me to be better and be a better person and fold laundry in a timely fashion. I think it was it might have been one of your friends actually, posted a meme on Facebook not too long ago that was like, laundry, half an hour to wash, an hour to dry, 2 weeks to put away. That's definitely me.
not me. I hate wrinkled clothing. I hate it. Well, I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
I don't
Sounds good.
know how entertained people will be to hear
Right.
about our
Who cares? You don't have to listen.
folding and clothing.
You clicked on us.
Yeah, you're here for whatever. I don't know your life. It's like people, whatever. I don't give a crap with your life. You're just like, but anyway, we do, and we appreciate you listening. So we'll be back soonish. We may have some drop-in podcasts here and there in the month of December, but this will probably be one of the last ones we do until December or maybe January. But let us know if there's anything in particular you would like us to review. You can hit us up on Twitter or Facebook or leave us a comment on Discord. Also, if you guys review our podcast, if you like it or if you don't like it, review it on iTunes. And send us a message and let us know how we can improve.
Yeah, leave us a comment on iTunes because it really helps our show.
It does. Yeah, it helps us reach more people.
Apparently, leaving comments and rating podcasts helps them improve.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah,
There's a
it's
science
crazy.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you participate, then you are part of the community.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We're out of here.
Bye.
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 Hey folks, this is Rachel from UtilityMuffinLabs.com. If you enjoyed the Playing Hooky podcast, think about supporting us. For more podcasts, art, videos, and gaming, go to UtilityMuffinLabs.com. Follow our podcast on Twitter @HookyPodcast, on Instagram and Facebook at our Utility Muffin Labs name, and support us on YouTube at Utility Muffin Labs. Check out our other gaming-related podcasts, 25 Years of Vampire the Masquerade and the Nerd Words podcast. Thank you all for your support. Utility Muffin Labs, consistently rated adequate.